Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining the live stream today. Today is July 27th, and we're going to look at the market overall just to start. It doesn't look that great. As you guys can see here, Disney pulled back. We just couldn't hold above this resistance that we were talking about yesterday. Had a really nice run though, but it still looks really good. I think we're just going to come and touch support, maybe like 177. And then consolidate and take it right back up. And I believe they have earnings coming up. But let's see, we have SPY. SPY has reached the top, and it's actually in a supply zone that I was talking about yesterday. Let me extend it right here. So right now, is this right now? Let's see. Yeah, after hours, it tried to go below the supply zone, but it just, it keeps bouncing off of this support line here. So this is where we are right now. It looks like we might just come back and touch support again, and then maybe bounce off of that. So I'm not really going to trade this this little area here because it's just chop to me. So I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting to get calls if we break 440.75. But overall, I'll be watching it if we go under this level right here, which is below this pattern at 438.70. You can try and short it here if you guys want to do that. You can short it here at the break of under this price at 439.76 and then just cover right here at the bottom. But my problem is that, sometimes it won't do that. It won't come all the way down. It'll just maybe consolidate here, just give you a bunch of fake outs in between. But just pay attention to the price action and execute accordingly. Just stick to your plan. My plan is going to be to short it under 438.70 or go long here above 440. Or if I see like a strong reversal here, I'll take some calls. So just pay attention to the watch list, and I'll be updating SPY, and we'll see how it goes today. But like I said, most likely it's going to come and just retest support around here. Okay, so not a lot too much going on with SPY. So let's look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has just been on a crazy run, and now we're just consolidating here at the top. Another consolidation period. So if we break below this, then we can definitely start seeing some selling in tech. I believe Apple has earnings coming up this week. So we can probably see that pull back with the market. Apple really doesn't beat earnings all the time. And we reached a peak with Apple. So that's going to be really interesting. But for the most part, we might just consolidate here with the NASDAQ and techs and watch a break for these levels here. Again, I won't be trading in between here. I need to have a clear direction. Either we break above or we break below. And this will probably be maybe another price correction to where we bounce off our support levels. Okay, the same thing goes for the QQQ. And it's the same pattern. What I was just looking at is just the futures. And it's the same thing. So we had a really nice run yesterday, and that was about it. And now we're just consolidating. So we can just see the market be a little flat this morning and maybe have some action after lunch or sometimes mid-morning. But let's not jump into trades just yet. Let's just take our time. So let's take a look at Apple. Apple is just moving sideways, and let's see, they have earnings after market close today. So whenever we have this pattern here, I don't really trade this type of spread, but if you guys trade spreads, you can do an iron condor here, or a butterfly, or just your traditional put spread. Why a put spread? Because like I said, we've reached the peak. And as you guys can see here, let me draw this resistance line here. We just can't get over this 150 mark. And we've tested it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. The only way this will be valid, or calls, if you guys just want to go in naked, is if we break resistance, if we break over 150. Okay, other than that, we can just keep moving sideways, or maybe possibly even pull back. Okay, so if you guys try to trade earnings, like I said, the safest bet is to just grab some spreads, or just wait. I usually like to wait, a few days after earnings, especially given the market, the way it's a little flat today. And I believe we have Powell speaking tomorrow. Let me double check here. I believe it's tomorrow, or I think they have an announcement. Yes, tomorrow. Great. And then we have the jobs report and PMI data. So between Wednesday and Friday, it's going to be really interesting to see how the market reacts. I believe the infrastructure bill is floating yet again. Doesn't look like they've come to an agreement. I don't think they're going to come to an agreement anytime soon, but these people can surprise us, or they might just wait until the end of the quarter and pass it and drag it on all the way until August or September. But today we don't have a lot of data or important data that's being released today. So who knows? Let's just pay attention to the market and see how we do. Okay, Apple. Let's see. I was noticing on the upgrades list, we got DDOG got upgraded. So let's see what this did. Okay, we got some volume coming in, and they have earnings coming up, but we don't have that much volume. If we can go over this level here at 110, even like 110.78, you guys can grab some puts at the rejection of this resistance here. I would say a safe bet is under 108.94. Okay, let's look at the list again. We had quite a few upgrades, downgrades today. Let's see, UHS, Otis, ooh, FFIV. That is something I keep forgetting. Oh, look at that. Man, missed it. The beat earnings. Okay, so since we spiked up, I'm going to be looking for a pullback. Oh man, that's a good trade. Let's see. Oh, Tesla was upgraded today. We got some energy. Oh, AVGO. This explains like why we had a really big spike this morning. I was looking at it today. American Airlines. Okay. JD and Baba. Okay, let's look at EVGO. EVs, let's see, this looks like a really nice reversal coming. If we can't break over 1228, we're gonna see another little pullback. I'm not really interested in it because it might not be such a big pullback. I'll be on the lookout for some calls. I needed to break, to be on the safe side, I would say 12. I would say 12. But we can just consolidate between, here, 1150 and 1250. So let's see, what else was I looking at? Oh, Tilray got upgraded today. You know what though? The cannabis market has been pulling back and it's not really doing what it's not really performing well. I mean, look at this downtrend. It just keeps respecting the EMAs and just touching and rejecting. Not only that, but we also have earnings coming up tomorrow. So I don't know what this means for Tilray. It doesn't look like they beat. Let's go back. Yeah, they don't. They never beat. So let's scratch Tilray for right now. We'll leave it on the back burner. And then we have Tesla. Tesla, what happened with the earnings yesterday? They beat, but you know what? I don't think they had good numbers. And so it didn't really perform well. And again, guys, this is why we don't trade earnings. You would assume, right, that Tesla would break out, would have some monster earnings. It didn't. It didn't. It just caused some volatility yesterday, and that's about it. And then after hours, not that much action. So I'll be watching it. I don't know about trading it today because usually when the earnings come out, our contracts move up substantially, really high. Our IV can be high, our Greeks can be a little skewed. So I'm just gonna wait, but I'll have it on my list. Okay, let's see, what else were we talking about? AAL, American Airlines. I believe they reported earnings also, and they've been doing okay. They got upgraded. Looks like we're pulling back though. We couldn't go over this resistance here. It doesn't look like we have a lot of stuff going on today. Let's see, Jets pulling back also. Might just be a pullback kind of day today or a cash day. So let's just be careful. And what we trade and our size. JetBlue, one of my favorites. Let's see, they have earnings, or they had earnings today. Miss. Still not good enough. All right. Yeah, it's gonna pull back. Let's just keep eyes on these for next week. This week doesn't look like it's gonna be a great week to trade. Okay, I was also looking at the industrial sector. It looks like we're doing pretty good, but we're pulling back. We have this huge rejection. We just couldn't break over this little pattern here. That's too bad. We have CAT that's reporting earnings this week. CAT has just been bouncing and a lot of fake outs here. It's really ugly price action. What I like about CAT is that the premiums are relatively cheap. It's very low risk, but with earnings coming up, the contracts do get a little pricey. So let's see how this does here. We might just bounce off support and resistance. And that's about it. Let's see, QCLN pulling back also. Oh no, looks like we might make a reversal today. Yeah, that's about it. Are you guys looking at anything in specific? I don't think I have a really good list today. Any tickers you guys want to talk about? Let's see, XLF, the Dow has been in a consolidation period for weeks. Look at that. Weeks, actually months. You know, we've just been bouncing off of here. We've had a hard time bouncing off of resistance here around 351, 352. Can bounce off of it. XLY also reached its peak. And we're pulling back. BTBT?
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay, BTBT. What kind of stock is that?
Crypto.
Oh, it's crypto. Oh, yes, yes. I remember reading about this too. Yeah, see, I had this demand zone drawn out here, but it didn't really do much. Let's see. This looks pretty good. Yeah, we're bouncing off this 200 moving average. Wow, we had this crazy spike yesterday, which means that IV is a little high. So let's have it come back down to earth. And oh, that's good. The problem with these huge spikes is that it messes up with the IV. And so we might see really high IV, but this might be a quick little day trade that we can trade here at 780, all the way up to your resistance at 782. But just keep in mind that we have a zone here. And so if you decide to trade it, or if we decide to trade it, we can trade it above this level and take profit up here somewhere. If we can't break this this area, we're just going to start to pull back. So just keep this area in mind. I like it. It looks pretty good. Let's see if we can get some volume today and push
It's
it.
triggering my scanner for volume. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got some good volume here pre-market, but we need to, we need to break over the pre-market high, at least 780, maybe even $8, just to, stay within a whole number. And then we could, play this bounce here off of this 9 EMA as it found support, because it can't go any lower. So we'll see how that does. I've heard a lot of stuff on crypto lately. And I was actually looking at Block the other day, but I didn't like these candles here. And like, we just ended up pulling back, and we're just gonna fill this really choppy gap that we had here. So I don't think we will break out with Block here. And the stocks that follow Block are Mara, Mr. Let's see, where's Mr. at? Yeah, Mr.'s pulling back. They have earnings coming up. Mara also pulling back. Yeah, so it's like a pullback kind of day. Not a lot of stuff going on. All right, Marano, what do you have today?
I was looking at, oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Ariela. Go ahead.
I was looking at CAN. CAN runs with Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency mining. but it fell, it was moving yesterday, and then I think overnight it fell 5%.
Mm-hmm.
CAN.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and I was looking at Can yesterday too, but you know what? I didn't like these fake outs. It had a lot of fake outs yesterday. Um, so you can tell that we were going to pull back because of these long tails. And whenever you have these little long tails at the top, it's not a good sign. It's usually a sign that, you know, we had some fake outs and we have some sellers present. Look at all this selling volume. And then we had buying pressure. There's a lot of mixed signals here. I like it though. I actually like it over maybe like 650 or possibly even like 7 up here, you know, breaking above this candle. But let's watch it over 650 and see what it does. Maybe we can scalp it here, but my problem with Can is that their IV can be like super, super high, and it can really mess with your premiums. So as it did already, look at that. Our IV is like all the way at the top. It doesn't look that good at the moment. Okay, what do you have, Morano? You want to share your screen?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let's see. So whenever you're ready. I'm with you. I think with all these earnings, it does. The IV is pretty high with all the tech, and really a lot of the market really depends on, relies on tech, on what they're doing, and there are a couple of names that I'm watching mainly to make the last push as they approach earnings. But you know, I think we've had quite the run before earnings, and so we're going to have to pull back. We're going to have to,
Yeah.
but I think we're due for a big pullback. But you know, just like we've said before, we trade what we see, not what we want to see, and so and during earnings, we want to be ready to react. I still can't share my screen, by the way. I don't know if you're.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. So if I get cut off, you already know the
Okay.
deal.
Okay. Yep.
I get cut off sometimes, so I'm gonna stop. Okay.
Okay. All right. I think. Yep. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Ayola. Thank you. You guys are always ready for my system checks. Okay. So yeah, like I said, I'm looking at a couple of tech names. What I've been doing whenever there's earnings, I trade a little bit less. I decrease my size in my trades, and I start looking at higher time frames. Higher time frames to help me find out, okay, where are we? And so I started looking at the weekly on a lot of the names, because when you look at a weekly, you start looking at, okay, where are we in the long term, right? Are we overly extended? For example, here's just an example on Apple, and I mentioned this in the chat. We're approaching earnings, which is I think today after market, and this is the weekly. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we had earnings here, and it had earnings here. So I'm not, history repeats itself. A lot of the times with stocks, it's the same way here. And so I'm have feeling that we're going to hit this level right here, and then we're going to pull back again. So, but I'm definitely watching. That's the week for Apple. And so let me zoom in a little bit more on the hour. So here you can tell that it's been trying to push, and I like this zone right here. I like this formation. This here's this zone that it wants to break, and so if I were to play, which I have some lotto calls for 160 calls, I think we're going to break this level. We're going to break here after earnings, but a lot of people are going to sell, and then we're going to pull back. And once people that entered on the 120s are going to start selling out. So you got to start thinking about, because if you think about it, people that are trading options, is just a small portion of the whole market. The majority, is actual investors buying shares, and they're the ones that move our stocks so we can buy options, right? And so you got to think about, okay, if the majority of investors, big money, and look at the volume here, if most of the investors bought here, if they saw a big rally up to this 150, and as soon as they start see a pullback, they're going to want to sell, right? And people that miss the run, they're going to buy the dip. And so you got to think about, what are the investors thinking? What are they doing? And that will help you to identify, well, how much room does this thing have? So when you look at, Apple is doing really well, can we get in? Well, how much has it run? And this is a big move. 124 to what? That's 20, almost 20 plus dollar move. And so you got to think about, overextending. This is just looking at price action, not even looking at indicators. And so anyway, that was just a little spiel about that. But looking at BA, I entered some swings. I broke, not necessarily my rule, but I went a little bit heavier than I would have wanted to, but I did buy some 3 weeks out, just to limit my risk. But I still think that BA is going to make a move very shortly. Mainly just looking at the hourly. Again, looking at this zone right here, right? And so it hits one. You wanted to test several times, and as soon as it breaks, we can move to the next level. So there's BA. Let's see, what was the other one that I was thinking? FSR keeps popping in my list here of stocks that I want to trade because of this. And it's just, there's, this is a strategy that I've used in the past. I've showed you guys the volume price, volume profile, and I'm just waiting for this puppy to take off. But there's just a lot of sellers on this zone that it's going to struggle. But once we have exhausted the sellers, and then we can continue further. And also it's an EV stock, and so you gotta watch for that. So and those are the only few tickers that I'm watching. I have a couple more. For example, Fubo. I shared this chart earlier. They have this downtrend channel that is kind of broke, but there's just no volume. And so I have a lot of tickers in mind where I have this charted, and I'm just waiting for the level, and it breaks, but there's just no volume. And so in any breakout, you want to see that volume come in, or else it's just going to be weak. It's going to retest the level, and it's just going to consolidate. And that's exactly what Fubo is doing. Now that I remember the other tickers, Square. As you can tell, I'm a little bit bearish in a lot of the tech stocks after earnings. And so here's a look at Square. I shared this chart in the chat. Bounce, rejected, bounce, rejected. And so this could be, Square could make a move to the upside and retest this level again, this 268. But depending on today's candle, we'll see how it reacts. And so I'll be looking for anywhere below 260 to 258, or this level right here. Let me see if I get the 4 hours so I can see the extended hours. Okay, see it's already pulling back. We could see some big pullback, just like Trader said. And I think we can move here to 245 on Square. So I'll be watching for puts for Square, and I'll share the levels that I'm watching. But those are the one of the very few. Yes, less is more. Exactly. Thank you, Trader. Especially during earnings. Don't. It's okay to be wrong when you're trading earnings because the volatility is so high. So you got to be ready to exit very quickly, save your capital, let the dust settle in earnings. There's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of anticipation, and so just take a step back a little bit and say, you know what, okay, I'm gonna let others trade that volatility. And in the meantime, we just sit back and watch the charts and zoom out in a bit higher time frame to see where we are. And the same thing, that's what's going on with Tesla. All these wicks, after hours, this is indecision. What is this telling you? That obviously the market's not sure, even with Tesla being revenue or profit 10 times that it did last year. Like, this should be flying, right? But then you also have to think about is where has it been in the past, couple of months. So in terms of price action. So just wait. Volatility is going to be high. Just wait for direction, and don't get faked out. Just take it slowly. That's what I'm doing this week, and I recommend you do the same. You can also just step away from tech in general, and start trading other tickers. So what I was saying about earnings, the thing about earnings is that in order for a ticker to really, really take off after, it's not enough to just say, hey, we beat earnings, we made more money than we did last quarter. No, they need to be really hit it out of the park, right? They need to it needs to be a complete win, and they need to increase their guidance. And that's what investors want. Investors don't want to see, well, we beat earnings. Like, they want to see, hey, we beat it by 4 times, and we project that we're going to beat it for 10 times next year. This is what causes that's what causes these kinds of moves. So unless we hear something like that from Apple or any other tech, it's not going to move anywhere. Okay. So while tech it will be very volatile and sleeping, you could always look at other tickers for the material side, other tickers that are still there. They don't have a lot of attention. So you can look at FCX. We have X. We haven't traded X in a while, Trader. I don't know, maybe you have, but they're all very similar. I know there's some news on the infrastructure bill. There's some indecision about that, and so that's probably why it's not moving very much. But as soon as we hear more from the infrastructure bill, we're going to see some more movement here. So this looks more like a head and shoulder, like a double top. So anyway, let's see. That's what I have. Not very much, and it's okay. There are days that you look at the market and it just looks weak, and pre-market action is just weak. It's a lot of pullbacks. If 90% of the tickers that you usually watch are not moving on pre-market, then that depends on the stickers. But if most of them are in the S&P, that's an indication that you can say, you know what, I'm not going to trade today. All right, and you don't have to trade every day, and I know that's really hard. And if you are going to trade, you can always trade small. Trade a small ticker, and just to keep practicing. And because the goal is you want to practice making good trades, not making lots of money. Practice making good trades and in the money. Exactly, they're good. So just take a step back. If you see something though and it's moving, always share it with us, and we'll love to take a look at it and perhaps even join you in your trade. So yeah, lots of names. Disney, is another one. One of our members mentioned that, and so there's a lot of sellers in this area, and so there's a lot of indecision. Disney, you can take this long wicks. It's I'm not really a big fan of it. So I think with Disney, we got to break that 180 level and never come back below, because we break it and then we come back. Why? Because we have this huge amount of sellers just waiting to get out of their positions. And so That is it, my fellow Taco members and some of our gold Taco members. We're excited for those who joined and signed up for the lifetime membership. We got a new member as well that joined this morning or last night. So we're very excited for those who have joined. And if you haven't, please let us know how we can help you. We have some incredible things coming up. We have our class on next month or next week. Wow. Holy moly. Okay, we have it next week. And then we have a couple more things in the works. And so please stay tuned. But in the meantime, any other tickers that you guys are watching that you like for us to look at, we would love to chart it out and discuss it. So Maria, I've never, oh, sorry. I was just gonna welcome Maria. I don't think I've seen her here, unless I'm confusing with someone else, but welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. Trader, you got anything else?
No, not at all. I'm right with you. I think today is just going to be a day where we can just, stay cash. I was looking at SWBI and DBRG. They're really oversold. And DBRG has some really good news, but you know what? It's a tech related company, so we might not see a lot of volatility. But it does look like, it's at a very oversold level. And SWBI is Smith and Wesson. And I really like it here at the bottom, but you know what? We just lack volume. We're just lacking a lot of volume right now.
Yeah.
And, we can see a nice reversal, but, we need some more buyers to step in.
Yeah, and that's really what when the market is this overextended, getting more volume is going to be the tricky thing. And so we are going to see very few selective runners right at the open. And so, and I think if any of the techs don't move before during the day, we might see a small sell-off right before earnings, and then have a big move after. And so I'm trading very little today, and at least that's my plan. So, but if I see something, and if it's a scalp opportunity, then I'm gonna get in that, right? And so, and we'll make sure to share that with you guys. But yeah, absolutely, just take it easy today. And again, if you see something, just shout it out. So.
Yep, that's it. And it looks like we might have some moves mid-morning or towards the end of the day. But we'll see with that announcement that the Feds are going to make tomorrow. It can shake, some things up.
Right.
So let's make it a good day, guys. And like Morano said, if you guys see anything, just mention it in chat, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it.
All righty. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.